Hey, Frank. Mike.
See ya.
Look like
Hi,
TV.
Mike.
Dan.
Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Can I sit here?
This is Bill. He's filming. Is that all right?
Okay.
So my outlet, we just specialize in black film, but we love Frank Grillo.
Oh, okay.
So
Frank Grillo's 18% black.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Okay.
18%
Sicilian or was?
No, I had my thing done and
the DNA.
The 23andMe.
Yeah, I'm 18% black.
Okay, so we love 18% of Frank Grillo.
Thank you very much.
Actually, like 100% of this movie. But
I'm Dan Tabor from Geeky Duffy, and I love 100% Frank Grillo. I actually got to interview a couple years ago for the Purge Anarchy.
For Purge Anarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
What's in the bag? What's your name, man?
I'm not telling you my name, man.
I'll just call you Wheelman.
You know who this is?
I don't know you.
You're driving for me. The other two, leave them behind.
I'm not leaving them behind.
They're gonna kill you. You better do what I tell you to do, you hear me?
Fuck you, man. I don't know you.
You don't listen to me. You're gonna get hurt.
Congratulations on Wheelman. It was pretty amazing. I loved it.
Thank you.
Thanks to your turn in the Purge Anarchy, you've begun to carve out this great niche for yourself as one of the more interesting up-and-coming action stars. What attracts you to roles?
For instance, the Wheelman, what attracts me is the story has to be like grounded in something like a father-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
That to me was the through line of the film.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it was in a car was kind of a cool experiment. I know Todd Hardy did something called Lock.
Yeah.
Similar, not in tone, but in execution. And it was Joe Carnahan and I's first movie that we were producing, so it was a challenge. And all these movies, the guy has a secret or a journey he's trying to make at a certain point in his life to maybe answer some questions that weren't answered as he's getting older.
yes. So in terms of the film, like I was just reading Scorsese's essay about Rotten Tomatoes killing the film industry.
Is that what he said?
Well, he said.
I saw the headlines, but I didn't read the article.
Well, basically he's saying that like aggregators like Rotten Tomatoes are sort of like Yelp or whatever. Like it takes the art or the art away from film. Like people, it hurts audiences. Audiences don't get a chance to see the films because of these aggregators, and that film shouldn't be made for critics or whatever. My point is that this Wheelman is certainly a film that, in this changing Hollywood system, would, we love all the Marvel Universe movies and stuff. But I mean, there's certainly a place for movies like Wheelhouse. I don't think it would get made in a studio. So first-time director.
And if you do make a movie like this, like when Carnahan and I, the CAA took our agents took the movie to Cannes to sell it. You sell foreign film financing and you tell territories. And Netflix came in and gave us more money than we wanted and said, go make the movie. Now, if it's not for Netflix, you go through this kind of antiquated system that usually doesn't pan out. And so it's good that they've come in and disrupted everything, these streaming companies, because they allow, the guy who directed this movie, Wheelman, and wrote it, it was a PA for 13 years. Carnahan read the script, gave notes, sent it to me. We met with him, met with CAA. In 2 months, he was on set directing his first movie. So, that's hats off to Netflix,
Right. And maybe this movie doesn't find its audience immediately when it's given a weekend to be successful.
Exactly. That's the other thing, weekends. We're obsessed with weekends, Netflix will launch this and it will continue, and they've spent a lot of money and time on marketing Wheelman, and we made it for $5 million. But your Netflix is different than my Netflix. The algorithm of how it's amazing. I mean, it really is fascinating. We sat with them and there's 25 people in a room, and all they want to do is get eyes on your movie. So for a first-time young film director and writer, I think it's amazing.
Okay, so the tension in the film is intense, to say the least. Like, I sat there through the whole movie like, oh my god.
Oh, that's good.
So when you first got the script, since so much of that takes place in the car, first were you worried that that would be like a engaging experience, and how did you know when you were filming it that this was going to turn out like much different than just a guy in a car?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Again, look, I'm not a movie star, so when a piece of material like that comes across, my desk, and I'm like, okay, if I have the opportunity to do this, it is a risk for me. I'm not, Brad Pitt. It's a risk for me, but it's a risk, I think, as an actor. If I pull it off, if we pull this off as a unit, then we could make something that is a throwback to a Sidney Lumet movie, or French Connection, or the films that we love, that I grew up with, that were lean and mean and character driven, and it didn't have to be fancy, but the story was compelling, and so was the guy.
Yeah.
And we took a chance, and again, I feel like it worked.
Now, you mentioned the guy. Now, we don't find out anything about the Wheelman except for he loves his daughter, he hates his ex-wife,
right?
And he was in jail for 3 years. Did you make up a backstory for him to kind of fill in those gaps?
Yeah, I do what they call a character Bible on everything I do, whether it's really fleshed out in the script or not. I like to do a character Bible. So I don't know if I have a modicum of talent, but I know that I work as hard or harder.
I would like to argue that you are very talented.
I don't know what talent is, but I just am very disciplined in my approach. So I knew that, and we shot the movie in sequence, and I had to drive the car 90% of the time. And I had a reader, so somebody's reading wrote. I'm not getting a performance from anybody. So there was a lot to kind of not fall into traps. And so I needed to really know where I was psychologically, spiritually, intellectually at every given step of the way. So it was a lot of preparation.
Right. Well, I noticed in watching a lot of your interviews, the word authenticity comes up a lot, like in terms of how you project yourself as a human being, as well as the roles that you play. I mean, can you just share with our viewers the authenticity that is in this film? There's no CGI. There's all.
No, yeah, it's another great question. I mean, look, I was a man before I was an actor. I say this all the time. So I can experience what it is for a guy struggling in his life. I know guys like that, and dive into that world, And there's one thing I do know about myself is that when it's not right, I can feel it. When I'm manufacturing something, I can feel it. So being authentic in everything is a matter of not judging who the guy is, just kind of getting into him and understanding what's motivating whatever the hell he's doing, and just keeping it real. Like just don't need to show off. That's me driving the car. That's me driving the car. Probably 90% of it is me driving the car.
But you don't drive, or do you? How do you?
I do drive. Now I drive. I drive not great, but I'm a good driver. Yeah, I do. Now I have a license, but I drive fast. I race motorcycles, dirt bikes, and enduro bikes. I've gone to driving schools, and so I know how to drive, and I'm not afraid. So, it was fun.
Very visceral experience. I love it.
That's great.
So, what I like about your character in the film is he isn't afraid to get his hands dirty. And that's kind of like when you said Lockett was kind of the same thing. When I heard Frank Grillo was going to do this, I was like, he's going to get out and he's going to have to kill somebody because Frank Grillo's going to have to kick some ass. So, what do you think about the code of the Wheelman in the film, and what is the trigger that makes him decide to resort to violence?
God, these are great questions. His daughter realizing that he's gotten his family, that they're in peril, especially his kid. He's a guy who's been in jail, doesn't know how to be a parent. The one thing he has left, he's a middle-aged guy now, right? The hustle thing isn't working anymore. He's got to go, but they can get to his kid. And I think once that happens, it's like Outlaw Josie Wales, Clint Eastwood. He's trying to live a life after the war, and they come and burn down his house and they kill his family. He becomes the baddest man in the land. It's that thing. It's an ordinary guy like Liam Neeson in Taken, put into an extraordinary situation, and then you see who this guy is. And to me, as a film watcher, I love those characters. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask about Beyond Skyline because I have to say I saw the new trailer for it and it blew my mind. So the trailer looks amazing, and you paired up with Iko Uwais, the guy from the Raid films, which are another underrated sort of franchise.
Which I'm making.
You're
Joe Carnahan and I are remaking the Raid. We own it.
Oh, that's right. You're making the Raid.
We just finished the script.
But how, with Beyond Skyline, how did you become involved with that? Because it was the first one got a lot of controversy because it kind of failed.
Yeah.
But like this new one looks like amazing.
Yeah.
And like having you involved kind of remind me of the Purge Anarchy, where you kind of came in and kind of saved a franchise.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the first one because it was made for like $1.5 million, and my agent said, if you look at the first one, you're not going to do this.
Yeah.
But they have a bunch more money, and here's the idea, and it's Iko, and I was like, so me and Iko fight each other, and we have an epic fight in the beginning of the film. And I haven't seen the film finished, but we have an epic fight, and then we fight these aliens, and it's in Southeast Asia, like Cambodia and Vietnam area, where there's some kind of political undertones going on as well. So I'm not a big sci-fi guy, but I kind of love the concept. I love Iko, and it was a big endeavor. We went down to Jakarta and we shot it. That was a bunch of years ago. Like that was 2.5 years ago.
Oh wow!
So it's a heavy CGI film.
Yeah.
So it took them a long time. I don't know what the movie looks like. I haven't seen it. But people seem to like the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer blew me away because I saw the first one. The first one was kind of a cheat because you thought it was going to be the one thing, turned out to be another.
Right.
But like, it just hits all the notes for genre fans. Like the Raid films, genre fans love the Raid films.
Absolutely.
And it's got him in there, and it's got you in there. You've definitely carved your own niche out, and kind of know, like, we've got like chocolate and peanut butter together. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup for action.
That's a great analogy. He's awesome, and we had a great time together. We choreographed all of our own fights, so there's a lot of us in all of that stuff, which was great working with him. And yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. I mean, and listen, Carnahan and I, we have a company called War Party. We are genre-driven, action thriller. Sub $20 million, many times sub $10 million. We're going to remake The Raid, sub 20. We just did a movie, El Chicano, up in Calgary. I'm doing a show for Netflix called Fight World, which is like, I'm like Anthony Bourdain, only I embed myself in fight cultures instead of food cultures. We've been to Africa, Mexico, Thailand, Myanmar. I'm going to Israel next week. So it's everything feeds into this world of genre, action, thriller, and to keep us, again, authentic.
Did Iko have any advice for you since you were taking like the mantle of the Raid? Because there should be another Raid movie, but
not Iko, but we were in, because XYZ is our partners, and XYZ made the first two, the production company, the great bunch of guys. But Gareth, we spoke to Gareth Carnahan, and I spoke to Gareth at length about what he didn't want to see. And he doesn't want to see us remake his movies. He's like, I'm not interested in those movies. He goes, I'm interested in what you guys are going to do. So the bones of it are the same. It takes place in Caracas in Venezuela. The bones of it are the same, but it's a very strong story between my character and my brother who's in the building. So it's Carnahan's written it and directing it, and we're excited.
Well, Frankie, we're getting to wrap up, but I do have to say, I'm really impressed by your body of work and what you're doing.
Thanks.
You remind me a lot of Jack Nicholson, in the sense I had a chance to see him speak, and he didn't get his fame until he's 29 with Easy Rider.
I'm a little older than that.
Yeah, well, but he was saying, like, it was tough for him in his 20s because he saw all his friends get success.
Yeah,
but then when he got success, he knew what to do with it. What are you doing with this moment?
I'm going to lean into what my strengths are. My strengths seem to be this kind of guy who is authentic. People believe I could be a regular guy in a tough situation and get them out of it. It's how I live my life. And with Carnahan now, we're going to create our own things for the people who not only that want to see the type of movies that we want to see, but like seeing our movies. Yeah. And that's what we're going to lean into. I mean, I'm not really interested in chasing down studio films. It's not my gig at this point in my life. I think we could create some stuff in the vein of Wheelman. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. No, super excited. Well, can you sign this for me?
Yeah.
And I guess we need some Instagram, and then you got to bounce out. But I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Great questions.